So I enjoyed the golf cart parade. That was a lot of fun, a great turnout. Thankful for the police department leading that. Also enjoyed seeing fellow council and mayor at the hot dog giveaway, and it was pretty genius of the golf cart drive-through. So I want to thank everyone that participated in that and the folks that came out for hot dogs.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you, Councilwoman Jan Bailey. Councilwoman Amanda Fenwick.
I just have one. Well, I'll ditto Jan's comments about 4th of July. In spite of everything going on, I was glad we were able to celebrate a little bit. I just want to remind citizens who are on the call now and those who might be watching this later that we do have an election going on right now. And so it's to reauthorize the 1/4% sales and use tax for our roads and drainage. So that is happening up at City Hall through this week. And then election day, early voting is through this week, and then election day is next Tuesday. So please read about what this is about on our website. If you have questions, ask any of us. We can't tell you one way or another how to vote, but we can give you the information. So please make sure you get out and vote. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Amanda Fenwick. And just my comments is just ditto what Jan and Amanda talked about. It was awesome to see everybody come out. I think we had almost like 60 to 65 golf carts Saturday, and everybody that came through and did the drive-through hot dogs. Looking forward to having it organized so we can get the jump chumps back out there and have our sit down and see everybody's lovely face next year. Hopefully all this stuff will be all done with that. That's all else I have. Moving on to item 4, staff reports. Police Chief Keel is not here. So did you, Brent, want to give his report now, or when you do give your report?
I can give it to you now and then separated, but the
Okay.
June stats, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
For TK, June stats, there were 3 thefts, 5 narcotics offenses, 1 driving while intoxicated, 1 dog bite, 773 business checks, 76 residential checks, 87 traffic contacts, 39 citations issued, and 5 arrests. And that concludes his report.
All right. Any questions? All right. Thank you. Building official Kevin Harrell.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. For my report from June 17th to July 7th, I've issued 28 permits. 26 of those permits were minor construction. 1 is a remodel. 620 Marina Bay is remodeling a lease space for a new hair salon. If you've been over there next to Havana Bay Cigar Bar, it used to be a cabinet shop. Both leases are being taken place, and so it'll be a new place you can get your hair cut at. 815 Grove, the house is still is still going on. Construction's going well. 819 Cedar, I'm sure you noticed the new pilings that were installed over the weekend during our golf cart parade. So they've now started on framing. Oakey's Yard House, I received some drawings and comments this afternoon from the architect. I'll be looking at those starting this week. So hopefully we'll get those signed and built. Code enforcement, I had 3 code enforcement cases. The homeowners are working to resolve the cases. 1 case is high grass and weeds. The homeowner, he mowed his yard, so that's been resolved. The 2 other cases are junked vehicles on East Shore. 1 vehicle's towed away last Thursday. The other vehicle is still in violation. Hopefully they'll be gone by this week sometime. That's all I have. If there's any questions.
All right. Having none. Sounds good. Thank you, Kevin. Keenan Volunteer Fire Department Chief Rob Steckler is not present. Next is Galveston County Health District, Amy Weber. Hi, Amy.
Good evening, everyone. So far, we've had total since we started up 388 calls in the Kemah Clear Lake Shores area. Last month, we had 4 calls in Clear Lake Shores. We did have mutual aid given to San Leon and Bay Cliff, so we responded there. We did receive mutual aid from the Bay Cliff area, and our response times currently are holding steady at 5 minutes and 40 seconds. Any other questions?
Yeah, I had a couple of questions for you. I know that Roscoe, what's her first name?
Kathy?
Kathy sent us the budget. So I've
Yes.
just let council know I've sent that to Brent, but that'll be brought forward here shortly.
Okay.
I did have one question for you. Will there be any payback of doing supporting like Seabrook and mutual aids? Because I've seen that we roll the vehicle over there a lot.
We've only rolled it there once, and that was due to the explosion.
Okay. All right. And just to give a heads up to the council, it's looking like, from what I understand, Kemah may be getting an increase in rate for the next year, but ours should remain about the same. Or have
Yes,
you looked
sir.
at it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Next is City Administrator Brent Spear.
Good evening. You will have my printed report to read tomorrow. I didn't get it sent out tonight, but we're 16 weeks or 4 months into the coronavirus pandemic. The big numbers are starting to fall now in Galveston County. Just today, they've had 68,000 tests. That's not necessarily people, because somebody could be tested 3 or 4 times looking for it. Almost 4,600 confirmed cases, about 1,200 recovered, and it updated today to 50 deceased. And statewide, they're at about 2.5 million tests administered, 210,000 confirmed, 108 were recovered, and statewide 2,700 deaths. Harris County to the north, it leads the state with confirmed cases with almost 38,000. That changes daily. And Galveston County, probably due to our close proximity and sharing resources, people, and activities, we're number 8 on the state list. So I continue to encourage everyone to practice social distancing, wash your hands a lot, stuff that our mother told us when we were young. Keep applying those things to your everyday life. With GA 29, that's a governor order, Greg Abbott. The big takeaway from that is the mandatory face coverings in public and in businesses. And if you do some drive arounds, or if you were out over the weekend, you would notice that. And then there's also restrictions on group sizes. Due to some of those concerns and that rolling out, Jamming on Jarbo was canceled this past weekend on July 4th. However, we did do the hot dog handout. That went very well, as stated before, and the Civic Club's abbreviated cart parade, I thought, went very well, and everyone stayed seated and stayed in their carts and had appropriate distancing. So that's good. As far as city of Clear Lake Shores, I think we're right now at 14 confirmed cases. That's going up a little bit, and we have 6 recovered. Haven't had any deaths. So that virus is among us, but we can plan and do the right thing to prevent the spread. So continue doing those things. The full-scale exercise that was planned for July 15th, it was a statewide exercise for first responders, that's been canceled. And that is completely due to COVID considerations. I don't want to get all those people in a room and working together. They're looking at options to do that virtually, but didn't have enough time with July 15th quickly approaching. Last month, we had our first court session in several months. I thought the court went very well. I spent the day over there helping out. They needed some additional boots on the ground. We identified some areas where we can streamline that process, and I did the medical clearance prior to entry to the clubhouse / courthouse, and I thought that was very successful. So we anticipate having court next week and improving upon that, and hopefully the wheels of justice will spin a little bit more quickly than they have the last 4 months. Been no changes in personnel. Roads and Drainage did have a meeting on June 23rd. Clubhouse, it was a 2-hour meeting, a lot of information exchanged and working on some revisions and revising the original estimate for services. So we continue to work on that. We'll have I'll meet with the chair tomorrow. We'll run through some ideas. Drawer Avenue is finally to the point where we're trying to convey the right of way with Mr. Drawer. So those conveyance documents have been forwarded to him, and if it's acceptable, we should have the road right of way taken care of, and then Galveston County can move forward with the next step in the construction of that extension. So we're excited about that. That will help connect 518 to 2094. It's kind of a back road that will be able to access to the shopping center in Kemah, where Walmart and Whataburger are. And I think it will just improve a lot of our local traffic pattern. So looking forward to that. I've received some quotes for painting of the exterior for City Hall and Clubhouse, and trying to work that into the budget for fiscal year 21. Also been working with department heads. They've been submitting paperwork, and we've been in discussions working on the budget and the budget process. In 2 weeks, I'll have that next budget workshop, and we can run through that. So keep moving forward with it. And if you're driving around the island the next few days, you're going to start seeing the new trash cans being installed. We have some places that we need to do some improvements before we put a trash can in the middle of a grassy knoll because it will sink in. So we have some places where we can put them. So at the pavilion at Jarbo, you'll see some pop up. You're going to see some pop up in the parking lots at the other parks and along some sidewalks. So they look very nice, very, very useful, and people are doing a good job picking up their trash, and hopefully this aids them in continuing that process. Let's see, and I think the rest of it we're going to cover, but further on in the agenda. I did have one thing I wanted to address tonight, and I will address it with the in the social media and roll it out. We had letters that went out for waterfront leases, and they were worded as violations. They were the violation letter. I thought it was the good letter, and I've never participated in that. Didn't think it was roughly worded. However, those should have been, I guess, worded as an inspection report. Kind of jumped the gun on that. So as an inspection report, if people receive those, please just look forward to working on those things. And the primary considerations that I have and that are really important for safety, particularly are fire pits, barbecue pits, grills. Those need to be removed. If you have a grill or a barbecue pit on a waterfront lease, they can be utilized, but they're not to be left overnight. So they're a use and remove. Very, very much similar to what we did on Saturday with the hot dog cookout. Grill was brought over, we cooked upon it. At the completion, it was made safe, and then it was removed. So it wasn't left there to burn out or anything. And so that's important because we don't want embers floating around and catching stuff on fire. The other thing that is very important is tie downs of furniture. I'm not worried about concrete furniture floating away and hitting somebody's boat or getting blown into a house, but plastic and wood seem to have that problem. So it's important to follow that lease and tether those to either the ground or to like a dock or something. And then finally, not as crucial as those things that are identified are waterfront numbers. And I know people get worked up over that. It's what is a waterfront number? Does it have to be a stencil? Going to be a pencil? On top of that water board, top of the bulkhead. We don't specify what the numbers need to be, but what's really important, especially for us and our waterfront committee, to be able to identify those waterfronts by their number. And on the initial walk around to do those inspection reports, and the city did them this time and forwarded to waterfront compliance because we've been impacted by COVID. And so people aren't getting out and getting to see that. And it's disrupted our lives as much as we don't want it to. And the city took the initiative to go ahead and do that and pass that on to waterfront compliance. And so those didn't come from waterfront compliance, they came from the city. But the lease numbers, although like I said, not a critical item, they are important because it helps us identify who we need to talk to. So tomorrow we'll also have a rollout through social media. I'll work with Adriana on that, and we'll also post to the website. And apologize for any confusion that or grief that's brought anyone, but inspection report's a little different than a violation letter. So that's all I have, and we'll work through the rest of the agenda. Any questions?
And I would just thank you, Brent. I just like to add, with the lease numbers and stuff, I had already worked with the people with the new pier and stuff, and kind of saw it ridiculous to put pier numbers on when you can count from the end which one's which. But also, I'd like to have the city look into if the city can put the lease numbers on. If you rent an apartment, the renters are not responsible for putting the door number, the number of the door on each of their doors. So if we can get that with a minimal cost, I think the city should take that on. But that's all I've got to say.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I would agree with that. If you're leasing from the city should put the numbers on there.
All right, thanks. All right, this time, item number 5, public comments. At this time, any person with city-related business may speak to the council in compliance with the Texas Open Meeting Act. The city council may not deliberate. Comments from the public should be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes per individual. At this time, please unmute your phone and identify yourself if you would like to address council. All right, having none on item number 6 or 5 for public comments, moving to item number 6, old business. Item A, review and approve dock box for waterfront lease B 049A/B-049B submitted by leaseholders Tony and Donna Peterson. Recommendation from Waterfront Compliance Committee. And welcome Mr. Doug Roberts, who's the chair of the Waterfront Compliance Committee.
Good evening, Mayor Kurt and council. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Hey, we had a Waterfront Compliance Committee meeting on June 22nd to discuss the request for a variance on the dock box at B049A and B that's held by Tony and Donna Peterson. And as it is mostly hidden behind the trees and really not an eyesore, it's a very nice piece of furniture actually. We voted 4-1 in favor to recommend to council to grant the variance. We didn't really see it as a problem, and he has no problem keeping it up, knowing that if it goes in disrepair, it would be pulled. So I'll leave that up to council.
So just to also follow on with what the direction was for Waterfront Committee, was to do is we asked y'all to go off and, one, consider and take action or make recommendation to council for this dock box, but also to assess the current lease and see if anything needed to be modified with that. So are you also you want to address that too at the same time?
Not right now. We were really concerned about Tony's box on a case-by-case basis. I think it's less likely to produce a ton of boxes all the way around the waterfront if it's case-by-case. Kind of how we were thinking of it.
All right. So the current lease agreement says that these items would be approved by council, and there's no change to the lease for that. So just bring in a recommendation to the council.
Yes.
Thank you.
My recommendation is that we treat it just like a grill. If they want to use it while they're on the property, they're welcome to, but it has to be removed at the end of the evening when they leave.
Let me make a motion to review and approve dock box for discussion. Jan Bailey.
All right. We have a motion to discuss. Jan.
All right.
A second.
Angie, second. Discussion.
So Christy, say what you said again.
Yeah.
That we treat it just like the grills. You know, if they want to have it on their lease while they are there for the day, that's fine. But when they leave for the night, they have to remove it just like they do a grill. That it couldn't permanently stay there.
I have a question. Is it on the leased property? Is it secured on the leased property is my question. This is Jan Bailey.
Yeah, I was going to ask about it being secured as well.
Right.
Well, it is not there now, but when he first put it there, yes, he had it secured, and it was on the property by the edge.
Okay. So is it typical? I mean, is it similar to furniture that you have on the lease that is basically secured?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Hey, Doug, this is Angie Terrell. I was just curious, you said the vote was 4-1 in favor of recommending this to council. The person that did not vote for this, what was the primary objection to the dock box from them?
I don't really recall that there was an explanation. He wasn't for it, that's all.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I'll make a motion to amend my first motion to approve the dock box for the waterfront lease C 049A B 049B. Jan Bailey.
We have a motion to approve. We have a second.
Motion to approve.
Yes.
I second.
All right. We have a motion to approve by Jan and a second by Mark Thompson. Any further discussion? Having none, we'll take a vote. All in favor, hands up. Aye.
Aye, Jan Bailey.
I have one, Jan Bailey. Mark?
Aye, Mark Thompson.
Okay. All right, that's two. All not in favor, nay.
Nay.
I have Amanda, Christy, and Angie. Motion fails. All right, moving to the next item. Thank you, Doug. I appreciate you coming and getting online.
Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Item 7, new business consent agenda, items A through B. You should be able to see this on your display. Can everybody see that?
move to approve the consent agenda.
Amanda with the motion.
I'll second it.
Who was that?
Christy Lyons.
Steve. All right. All in favor, aye.
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 And Mark's hand up. Motion passed unanimously. All right. Item number 8, council business discussion, possible action may be taken on the following items. There's a lot of reading for me now. Item A, ordinance 2020-10. Y'all can go get a drink or anything. An ordinance of the city of Clear Lake Shores, Texas, deleting section 22-7 municipal court building security fund of chapter 22 courts of the code of ordinances of the city of Clear Lake Shores, Texas, providing for the incorporation of preamble, specifically repealing ordinance number 2006-07 as codified as section 22-7 municipal court building security fund in chapter 22 courts of the code of ordinances, providing a repealer clause, a severability clause, a savings clause, and an effective date. Brent, you've got to talk.
Very, very simply, I think you've got all of the background information with the reports from Municode. These were also reviewed by Olson and Olson City Attorney to make sure that they were applicable to Texas state law. Everything is in line, and this was created by them and consolidated. It's just eliminating deleting sections that are no longer applicable. It's combining things as we go further through here, combining things and making them match what the code is now from when it was originally passed. So it's had 2 layers of legal review.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2020-10 as written.
I'll second it.
A motion by Angie and second by Christy. Any discussion? Having none, all in favor, hand up or aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Jan, were you an aye?
I was aye. Yes.
Okay, all passed unanimously. All right. Item 8B, ordinance 20-20-11, an ordinance of the city of Clear Lake Shores, Texas, deleting section 22-8 of its code of ordinances municipal court technology fund of chapter 22 courts of the code of ordinances of the city of Clear Lake Shores, Texas, providing for the incorporation of preamble, specifically repealing ordinance number 2006-07 is codified as section 22-8 municipal court technology fund of chapter 22 courts of the code of ordinances, providing a repealer clause, of severability clause, a savings clause, and an effective date. Seems real like the same as the one above. It's just like one different section.
Same thing, Brent. This has gone through legal, etc. All that
Yeah.
stuff. Okay.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2020-11.
I'll second.
Christy with the motion, Amanda second. Any discussion?
Nope.
This is Brent. I'll just interject. I couldn't unmute myself quick enough. Yes, it has gone through the same layers of review at 2 levels. So again, same thing applies.
All right. Any discussion? Having none, all in favor, aye.
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 Mark? Where's Mark? Mark disappeared. Oh, there's Mark.
There, he's there.
All right. All right, motion passed unanimously. Item C, Ordinance 20-20-12, an ordinance of the City of Clear Lake Shores, Texas, amending Chapter 14, Building and Building Regulations of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Clear Lake Shores, Texas, by adopting the 2018 International Building Non-Residential, Residential Building, the 2017 National Electric Code, the 2018 Plumbing, the 2018 Fuel Gas, the 2018 Mechanical, the 2018 Property Maintenance, the 2018 Energy Conservation, the 2018 Existing Building, and the 2018 NFPA Life Safety Codes, and by adopting the 2018 International Fire Code of Chapter 34, Article 1, Section 34-1, repealing all ordinances inconsistent or in conflict therewith, providing a penalty in an amount not to exceed $2,000 for each day of any violation hereof, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2020-12 as written.
I'll second it.
Motion with Angie, second by Christie. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just had a question for Kevin. Kevin, are we currently using the updated codes that we're adopting with this ordinance? Have we currently been using those in the building department?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
No, currently, these wouldn't come into place unless you approve them. Currently, right now, what we're enforcing is the 2015 code, which has been in place for several years now. I believe five, maybe 6 years now. There's not a lot of big changes. I had Christy send you some handouts of some of the changes to the code. Really, the only thing that might affect us, there's some changes in our building code where they've changed the occupant factor load in some businesses, which means some businesses that don't have a lot of occupancy, like not retail, but like business offices, they're under the same factor as, say, retail. Well, there's more people in retail building than there are in office buildings, so they've modified those numbers. One of the biggest changes in homes will be if your existing home is not built up to current code and you remodel some portion of your home and your your smoke detectors are not connected, as in hardwired, so if one goes off, they all go off. The new code is going to make you, if you do a remodel, to update those smoke alarms so that they're all connected. They all go off if they smell smoke in one part of the house. They all make noise, which is a good thing. Fire code, this is probably a big one for our restaurants and bars that serve alcohol that are over an occupant load of 300. They are going to require sprinklers if they remodel. That's a big one for some of our commercial businesses. The others, they really don't affect us too much locally. Plumbing codes don't change too much. Some businesses that have one toilet because they don't have enough occupants, they have to label that this is a male, female, family bathroom. Code says there's no reason for that. It just says bathroom. It's a bathroom. They don't need to designate that it's for all parties. So that's a minor thing. But most of these are not really going to affect us much.
Thanks, Kevin.
You're welcome.
So we had a motion, right?
I have a quick question for Kevin. Will
Yes.
our fire marshal have to inspect all of that as this is coming into play?
Yes, I mean, he has to.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me still?
Yes.
Okay. Currently, our fire marshal is inspecting under the 2015 code. Obviously,
Okay.
if we adopt this, he'll go under the 18 code. Like I said, there's not a lot of big changes.
That's for any new construction, existing
Yeah.
facilities with
Okay. Yeah.
the non-compliance.
Yes, correct.
Makes sense. Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
This is Brent. Also, the fire marshal had indicated that he would recommend going to the 2018 code. So, so that's where other municipalities are there. He's familiar with it. It's easier for him to administer.
Any further discussion? All right, having none, all in favor, aye or hand up.
Aye.
Aye.
Looks like we got everybody. Anybody with a nay? Having none, motion passes unanimously. And then moving item to D, but I would just first like to say that Ronnie Richards is online, but you know, want to thank him for his unwaveringly dedication to the city and everything that he's done with the EDC as he has moved off the island. I think it's temporary, but he has turned in his resignation to the EDC, so this is to fill that position. So thank you, Ronnie, for all your hard work.
Thank you, Ronnie. Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Ronnie.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ronnie.
All right, this is item D, recommendation by Mayor Otten for appointment of member to Economic Development Corporation to replace Ronnie Richards, who resigned 6/29/2020, term ending October 31st, 2021. We had a lot of really good applicants, and with a short turnaround, everybody had this able to review those in their packets, and it is a very hard, tough decision to make, but my recommendation is going to be to council is to have Amanda Fenwick go on EDC, but she has chosen to not run again for council, and I think she would be a great addition to the EDC. She brings a lot of background and wealth of how the city operates already, and I think it would be a huge plus to that organization and board.
Jan Bailey, motion to appoint Amanda Fenwick to the EDC.
I second.
All right, motion by Jan for Amanda Fenwick and second by Angie.
Either way.
Huh?
Either way, doesn't matter.
Okay. Any discussion?
Amanda, you want to do this?
I do, and I appreciate
Okay.
the mayor's recommendation. Les, he said there were some really good candidates, so I do appreciate that trust and faith in me to serve on that capacity.
Cheers, girl. It's all yours.
And I'm, just for the record, I'll abstain from this vote.
All right. No further discussion. All in favor with the eye or hand up?
Aye.
Like we got Jan, Angie, Christy, and Mark. And Amanda. All right. That motion passes item D. Get to work, Amanda.
I will.
All right, I want to thank again all the applicants. I know Jesse Young's online, and I appreciate you turning in your application. It's awesome. And we look forward to seeing you. There's a lot of boards out there for you to help out with too. So thank you, Jesse. Next item is E, appointment of city prosecutor to replace Letitia Fuhrer, who resigned on 6/19/20. And I'll hand this over to Brent.
Hi, this is Brent. City Prosecutor Letitia Fuhrer submitted a resignation letter 6/19 after the close of business and didn't get it till the weekend or till the following Monday. I also received, I guess, emails and resumes on that date. So we had 3 people. There are some people that want to be in municipal courts and prosecution, and there's people that want to represent only felonies, and they want to do a state law whatever it is. But the word of her exit processed pretty quickly through people that are interested in these positions, and had 3 that expressed interest. One wanted some compensation that was higher than what the judge makes, so that was not considered, and had 2 that were interviewed 2 times, once by court staff, once by me, and I supplied you my notes. My recommendation to council for appointment as a city prosecutor would be Donnie Quintanilla. I think that's how he pronounces his name. Apologize if that's butchered. He has vast experience. He's worked with the city of Friendswood, as you've seen in my notes and on his resume. He has a good record. He's willing to work with our schedule, and he's anxious to get to work. Had another possible candidate that was very good, and it just kind of came down to see who was the best fit. The other candidate had recently been appointed at some other municipalities, and since COVID's been going on, he hasn't had an opportunity to work in those capacities at the other municipalities. And I just felt that might be spread a little too thin to help us out. So I think this would be a good fit. If you have any questions, I'm willing to answer those.
I'll move to appoint Mr. Quintanilla as the city prosecutor.
Motion from Amanda Fenwick.
Second, Jan.
Jan, you second?
I'd like to say something as well. This is Jan Bailey. I want to publicly thank Letitia for serving our community. Hello?
Yeah, I have a motion on the floor. I have a second.
I second.
All right, thank you.
I just wanted to thank Letitia for serving our community, and also very honored to have Donnie consider Clear Lake Shores. He's very well known in Galveston County, and is a really, he's an excellent attorney. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? All right, having none, all in favor, aye, or hand up, please.
Aye.
Aye.
And it looks like everybody's a yes, yay. Any nays? Having none, the motion passed unanimously. That is it for our Zoom meetings. Thank you for participating. We're adjourning the meeting at 7:32. Nice to see y'all in our houses again.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Have a good evening.